I got a new name for Mellow, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you?
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a follow-up to the Carmelo Anthony video because it looks like Austin Metcalf's dad has put out his own statement. It was a pretty long one. I'm not going to go over all of it, so I will summarize a lot of the statement. But the one part of this statement that he made that I want to address is this one.
Kevin Hayes, you fucking liar. Day after it happened, how many lies did you sit and type up on your keyboard, you big keyboard warrior? You a big tough man. You still live in Baton Rouge? Remember you said you'd come to Frisco, buddy? You're supposed to find me. I told you we could sit down and talk. That's all you do. Talk, Mr. Squeaky Clean. You're the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture. You people hang your hat on the dumbest I've ever seen. Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mellow, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night, because he's going to have many nights to think about what the he did.
Now, there's a lot of context behind why he used this phrase. So before you guys jump down my throat, because I know some of you do probably think that I agree with what he said, the answer is no, I do not. I don't think he should have said watermelon felon. I don't think it helps his case. I think it makes him look bad in a scenario where I don't even think his dad is in the wrong to feel the way he feels about this whole trial. And I'll get to that in a minute. But no, I don't agree that he should have said it. I don't think it makes him look good. It doesn't help his case. That would make Austin look any better. But at the same time, can I understand the frustration behind the phrase? Yes. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. So for those of you who don't know, Austin Metcalf's dad had come out with a video of himself going over how he's felt about the trial from the moment he found out, got the phone call from Austin's coach that he had been stabbed, to the moment he posted this video. He goes over in great detail in this video about how he found out, how he heard about Austin getting stabbed. He said the coach called him. He said, all I can tell you is that he's been stabbed. And his dad asked where it was at. He gave the name of the stadium. His dad says in the video he got there in 4.5 minutes. The scene was chaotic. He shows up. Then it turned into a crime scene because Austin is officially pronounced dead. And they're there for several hours. He's trying to get through police officers, things like that. This video goes over, and I'm going to show you a couple of clips of it before you get to the watermelon felon part. The frustration that he, as the victim's father, and Austin is 1000% the victim in this. I will not be arguing with any of you on that. He is 100% the victim because Austin's not here anymore breathing. Carmelo is. So Carmelo's not the victim. Miss me with it. He didn't really get to voice his opinion because he was under a gag order. I think a lot of people kind of forget that. If you remember, there was a press conference with Dominic Alexander. Yeah, I don't know if you know that guy. He's the child who Carmelo Anthony's family thought would be a great representative for their family. Like, look, regardless of the scenario, that was a bad move on Anthony's family's part. I'm sorry. That grifter, it's not what this video is about. Anywho, his dad showed up at a press conference, and they escorted him out, and then he was placed under a gag order. So you got to remember, so this whole time frame from this trial, from press conference all the way to the end of the trial, his dad was under a gag order. So he couldn't even voice his own opinion about his child dying. So he has to sit here and listen to the court of public opinion, their case, people talking negatively about Austin, making fun of him, talking about white people this, white people that, talking about his parents, and trying to defend Carmelo Anthony, saying that he was justified, and all this race stuff going back and forth. And this whole time his dad cannot speak on it. I wanted to provide that context in a couple of these clips because it leads up to the watermelon felon thing. So everything you just saw, everything I just explained leads up to this clip right here.
Drew Anthony, Kayla, you're cowards. You wouldn't even show up for your son's sentencing or victim statement impacts. You abandoned your kid. You left him there. I guess he's no more use to you because you can't get any more GoFundMe money or GoSendGo money. You are grifters. You should be ashamed of yourself. You raised that child, And I swear to God, CPS to come check on those other 3 that you still have. You never once admitted or took accountability. You tried to play victim. The real victim is the one who died, not the one who shoved a knife in his chest. I come to pray with you and show the world we can close the gap of this unbelievable racial divide. And what'd you do? You widen the gap even further. You hire a convicted, baby-shaking felon who's only in it for the money, who gives you bad advice, kicks me out of a press conference. Oh, funny, I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, but I left when asked. I didn't stab anyone. And then you proceeded to gaslight me with your convicted felon, quote, advocate, minister? Minister of what? Minister irrelevant? Minister of bullshit? How about minister fuck you? Y'all think I'm a saint? I'm no saint. I'm as human as you. I have emotions. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I don't sin, because I don't walk on water and I don't turn it to wine. And anybody else can, step up. Don't become kicking rocks in my backyard. Look in your own. The display of adults on the internet. If your children saw how you acted, would you be proud? Or is that what you teach them? Do you teach them that racism is okay? Do you teach them? Do you inbred? Do you program your kids to hate, to kill? From day one, I said this was never about race. Please don't make it about race and don't politicize it. And what did you do? You chose both. The race card, black fatigue, it's real. I'm sorry. You have embarrassed your own culture and race. Don't get me wrong, we got white people that embarrass the shit out of me too. But you guys, you got a patent on that shit. And the only people that's going to change it are you.
So before I give my final thoughts on this, I want to show this clip from Officer Tatum because he also responded to this recently the past couple days from me filming this and his opinion on it. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts.
First and foremost, there was nothing that I thought that he said in all of his speech, aside from the watermelon felon thing, that I thought had anything that was wrong in it. Everything that he said in that video, it equals my frustration with what has gone on in this case, how they have treated his son, and the foolishness that's coming from a lot of people in the black community. It is absolutely asinine. But I agree with him. I agree with the frustration. And I always perceptualize what I say on both sides. If a young white kid was murdered, a young black kid was murdered by a white kid, and the white community was coming out and saying that's what he get, playing that the black kid is actually the suspect and their kid who did a senseless murder is a victim, them going out and saying, let's stand up for white folks everywhere. Let's go and lie to the jury pool so we can get more white people on the jurors so we can defend our white brothers and sisters, running around the streets talking about white power and saying black people are the evil of the world and all these other things and showing pictures of peeing on the grave of this black kid and sharing them online with no care in the world. If white folks were doing the same thing we see black people doing, and a black dad got on here and went ham, nobody would have a problem with it. It's only because Austin Metcalf's dad is white that people have a problem with the things that he's saying, being critical of the black community. So let's get to the watermelon felon thing. In the video, and I'm gonna say it right off the bat, I don't like that he said it. I don't think he should have said it. I don't think it helps his cause by saying it. But right off the bat in the clip, he said, I'm gonna say something to get y'all riled up. And the reason why this is not as crazy and offensive as it would be in other circumstances is because the way that people are talking about his dead son is absolutely insanity. They are mocking his son, saying he was a bully and that he deserved to get stabbed in the heart and killed at a track meet. And for him to go out and say, well, I'm gonna make y'all really mad. I'm just gonna say something to make you mad. I see where he's coming from with that.
No, I think he explained it very well. I think we hear the phrase watermelon felon, which is racist, and he should not have said it. I don't appreciate him saying it because I'm like, a lot of history behind watermelon and black people. If you don't know what that is, look up the ice cream song and you will understand. In fact, I will link it in this description if you want to listen to the lyrics of that. Beyond that, it's a built up thing of frustration, right? This man's child was dead, and almost virtually the entire time it's been national news. He has not been allowed to speak about it, but everyone else has been able to call his son a bully. They've been able to say racist things about him, saying he deserved it, that maybe don't put your hands on people. And he can't say anything. So this was your child, or even if you don't have kids, it was your loved one. It doesn't have to be a child. And they got stabbed and were killed for the same thing that Austin did. You would not sit there and defend it. If you take race completely out of it, you really wouldn't. You wouldn't defend it. Carmelo's Anthony's actions were completely wrong. He should not have done what he did. It was not warranted. The use of force he exerted did not match the use of force that Austin used against him. Austin didn't even have a weapon on him, and he didn't even know that Carmelo had one. He had no reason to believe that because as a person who followed school policy, which would be Austin, I'm going to assume virtually every other student in there, he probably assumed the best of Carmelo and that he also was following school policy and didn't have a weapon on him because Austin has no reason to think that, right? I, as a teacher, would not have had any reason to think that. I would have no reason to think that a student at a track meet would have brought a knife because it is so irrelevant to what the event is for. So why would Austin think that Carmelo was going to stab him? You know what I mean? And this is a man who doesn't have his child anymore. Austin Metcalf's dad does not have his child anymore. He's dead. And this is a part that I think some people may not really think about either because Austin has a twin, right? And I'm not going to say anything negative about his twin, so I don't want it to sound that way. But it's one thing when you lose your child, but I would imagine having another individual in the house that looks exactly like the person you lost has to add another layer of sadness to what happened. And the amount of empathy Black community is not giving Austin Metcalf's dad is really kind of gross because we all know that if this was a Black person, this was reversed, y'all would not be having the same energy for Carmelo. You wouldn't be having the same energy at all. You would not be posting pictures of people peeing on his grave. Like, imagine that. You have people posting photos of your dead child's grave and then peeing on it because Carmelo decided he wanted to be big and bad and stab somebody. And now you're boo-hooing because he got the consequences that his actions deserved. He did. That was first-degree murder. Clean cut. I don't care what Cardi B says. I don't care what the Texas representative said. I can't remember her name. Talking about how this was what did they call it? That it was a legal lynching. No, it wasn't. He stabbed somebody at an event where he had no business having a knife. I think he got what he deserved. And he didn't even get life. He got 35 years. The kid's 17. And he's eligible for parole in 17 years in, I think 17 and a half. Doesn't necessarily mean he'll get it. From my understanding, getting parole after a murder charge, especially a first-degree murder charge, is extremely difficult, but it's there. So it's even possible Carmelo won't serve 35 years. But guess who did get life? Austin did. Austin got life. But I do not agree with his dad using that phrase. It does not help his case. It does not make the Metcalf family look any better. And I think all it did was just add fuel to the fire. I agreed with 100% of his speech until he got to that point. I'm like, I don't know about that one, sir. That is racist. I don't think it helps. And I understand it's harder to be the bigger person in a scenario like this. And actually, truly, I really don't. My kids are both alive. I have no idea what it's like to lose a child. And I especially don't know what it's like to lose a child in the manner in which Austin died. But when you do things like that and you post it online, you are not helping your child's legacy and you are not helping your case. So I do not agree at all with that phrase, but I think the context behind the frustration, you need to remember why he's frustrated. I don't think Austin's dad should be doing interviews right now because what he said is not helping his case. It perpetuates stereotypes. And I get that the Black community has not necessarily been the most receptive to accountability on Carmelo's behalf. Not like they necessarily need to be. I think they should be more understanding of why Carmelo is in the scenario he's in. He's in the situation because of all of Carmelo's actions. From sitting under the wrong tent to electing to stab somebody to turning around and telling the security officer there, like, it's not alleged I did it. Like, Carmelo's sitting where he's sitting because of Carmelo. Nobody else. He is responsible for what he did, and the court system did what they were supposed to do, which was hold him responsible, and they did exactly that. Jeff Metcalf needs to go home and sit down and stop talking on camera. And I know that's hard because that's really all he's been doing this whole time. So this is pent up frustration. But that one statement has detracted from the interview where he made valid points the entire way. But then because you say that, nobody cares anymore about what you got to say. Not me necessarily, but other people listening to that, they're not going to care what you got to say. So you need to step away from the camera and check your emotions before you talk ever again about this case. And I say that because I'm sure the last thing he wants is for Austin's name and reputation to continue to be tarnished. But that one statement has done the opposite of that. But his dad's gonna do what his dad wants to do. I'm sure he doesn't even know I exist. I don't really have a lot of subscribers. Which, by the way, if you made it to this end of the video, please subscribe. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think about the interview? Did you see the interview? What do you think about the phrase watermelon felon? I am not too thrilled about that phrase, in case you haven't noticed. But leave a comment, leave a like, and I will see you in my next video.